India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in the U.S. this week to meet with President Biden and to address a joint session of Congress. But as Washington rolls out Modi's red carpet, his human rights record in India is front and center. At least 75 U.S. lawmakers have signed an open letter to President Biden, urging him to raise areas of concern with the Indian leader, who was at one point denied entry into the U.S. Quote, a series of independent, credible reports reflect troubling signs in India toward the shrinking of political space, the rise of religious intolerance, the targeting of civil society organizations and journalists, and growing restrictions on press freedoms. In May, the U.S. State Department's annual report documented persistent religious violence in India directed at Muslims in particular, including open calls for genocide, lynching, attacks on places of worship, and home demolitions targeting Muslims, who account for about 14% of the country's population. Christians and other groups have also faced persecution, prompting U.S. officials last month to call on India to condemn the, quote, persistent religious violence. Meanwhile, an independent U.S. panel has recommended for a fourth consecutive year that India be designated a country of particular concern, or CPC, a status reserved for the world's worst violators of religious freedom. Still, ahead of Modi's address, it's mixed messaging on the issue from top Biden officials, at a time where Modi is being viewed as a crucial partner amid tensions with China and Russia.
President Biden has never shied away from raising concerns over human rights, and he's not going to start shying away from it this week.
Hours after that, White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said Biden will not lecture Modi on human rights. Quote, ultimately, the question on where politics and the question of democratic institutions go in India is going to be determined within India by Indians. It's not going to be determined by the United States. Meanwhile, ahead of Modi's address to U.S. officials, he also met with top CEOs, including Tesla owner Elon Musk, who has high hopes for Tesla in India.
Well, I'm actually incredibly excited about the future of India. I think India has more promise than any large country in the world.
Musk has faced criticism for complying with India's censorship requests on his platform Twitter, but says he's confident about the direction of Tesla in the country.
It was a fantastic meeting with the Prime Minister, and I am a fan of Modi, so I have to say that.
Prime Minister Modi will be received at the White House on Thursday, June 22nd, and will speak to lawmakers later in the day. He was last here in the U.S. in 2016. This will be his second time speaking to a joint session in Congress.